Pisces, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and this is going to be a general reading for June 2024. And in today's reading, we're going to be doing the Yellow Cardinal Cross. So I'm going to be beginning with asking the tarot to show me what your issue is right now that you're dealing with, whether it's a problem, a decision, a struggle of some sort. Could be a pattern that's showing up in your life. And then I'm going to clarify that with another card, and just to get some, real an idea of what it really could be. And it could be actually a card that's obscuring it as well. And then in the third position, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the conscious influence on this situation you're sitting with. And by that I mean I want to look at something that you are aware of that really is influencing this situation. And then in number 4, I'm going to look at what is the unconscious influence. So that's going to be the influence that you don't know. It's hidden from you because everything in our unconscious is hidden. And so what it's really going to be is we're going to look at your shadow, and we're going to look at what needs to be healed in that part, because whatever is coming up in that part always needs healing, and that is going to always have the biggest impact on what we're sitting with. And so if you're not familiar with the word shadow or shadow work, I've left a really good video for you in the description box, and it's called My Powerful 4-Step Guide for Shadow Work. And it really is it really is a video about facing your own shadow. And so it's a video that I put together on my other channel called Carol Cares, and just really it's a compilation of how I do shadow work, and I've been doing shadow work intensively for about the last 7 years for my own complex trauma. So I put that together, things that I've learned along the way with my own life coach, and just the tools that I use to do my own shadow work. And so you can take a look at that if you're interested. And then we're going to look at number 5, which is what's needed for the resolution. And that'll usually clarify a lot of things as well. And then in number 6, we're going to look at what's the guidance from the tarot. What's the tarot have to say about this? And then I'm going to leave you with maybe 1 or 2 more videos that are just more specific to the situation that's going on. And those are taken from my other channel as well. But sometimes they're like, things like how to deal with certain emotions that are coming up. And it could be something to do with depression, or sometimes your anxiety, or different things that that's coming up in your reading that you need to work on. All right, so we're going to get started with the Rider-Waite deck, and then I'll pull out the Light Seers Tarot for some clarifiers. So I hope you're doing well. The end of the month and halfway through this year already. I think one thing, being a tarot reader, you start to realize how we know time goes really fast, but when you're a tarot reader, it goes really, really fast, because it's just like, I just did May's reading, and now I'm doing June's reading, so you're just more in tune with the calendar. Okay, so let's get started here. So can I ask tarot for the issue that Pisces sitting in right now? What issue is Pisces dealing with right now? 1 to 2 cards, please, for the issue that Pisces is dealing with right now. Kind of fell out for me, which is nice. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups. And let's have a clarifier for that. Let's have a clarifier for the Ace of Cups. For something that's obscuring it. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. Okay. In the third position, we're going to look at what is the conscious influence now. What is the conscious influence now? The Ace of Wands. And how about the unconscious influence? The Knight of Wands. At the top, we're going to look at what's the resolution here? What's needed for the resolution? Here's a card that's flipped over. Not sure where that one's from. What's needed for the resolution here? The Chariot. And below everything, we're going to look at some guidance from the tarot. Your cards came out quite nicely today. The Seven of Swords. You are my first reading that I'm doing today, so I'm glad that they came out that easily. All right, I have my clarifiers here, so just going to give those a shuffle. And I did pre-shuffle everything before we came on, but I'm just going to get a couple more. Okay, so let's look at here. You have for the situation that you're sitting in is the Ace of Cups with the Queen of Swords behind it. So the Ace of Cups speaks of a gift from the universe, an offer from the universe. It's usually, a new chance, a new beginning at something. And in this case, it's the cups. All the aces are that new beginning. So this really tells me that you're in a position here where there's, some emotions coming up. Maybe, you're in a position where you're thinking you're starting to really get in touch more with your emotions and realizing that, because a lot of times we'll shove those emotions down because we don't want to deal with them. And so maybe you're just making a conscious effort to really get in touch with your emotions and start to sit with those emotions. Queen of Swords is behind that, and that explains a little bit why. The Queen of Swords, a queen in my deck, is the feminine part of us. And we all have a feminine part and a masculine part that has nothing to do with gender. But the feminine has these beautiful qualities, and she's really been like pushed aside over the years because we've really been living in masculine society where we honor the masculine traits, and now what's happening is the feminine are starting to come in here. And this particular one is the Queen of Swords, and the sword speaks about our mental energies. It speaks about our mental thoughts, but the sword also speaks about the authenticity, getting back to who we really are. And so I'm seeing here that you're sitting in a position here where you're looking at, dealing with a lot of your stuff and dealing with your emotions, and, because I think there's a sense that, that you're wanting to figure out, who am I really? Like, once I start peeling away at these emotions, who am I? And so I think we have enough information here. I'm going to move to the Ace of Wands here. So the Ace of Wands, you have two aces here. So it sounds like a real new beginning here for you. And what's the conscious influence on you? Well, here's like I said, another beginning. But this is the Wands this time. And so I'm seeing here that I understand now why you're wanting to really figure out who you are. I think you're feeling the Wands is about our true purpose, being very creative. And when I mean creative in a sense that we're going to take our life in the direction we want to go to. We're going to start putting ourselves first and doing what we want to do. And so I'm seeing here that you're looking at doing something. Maybe, you know what it is, but you're just kind of feeling like, maybe there's something else I could do. And so let's pick, I'm going to ask for a clarifier for this Ace of Wands. Whoa, there's so many cards that turned over there. Can you tell me more about this Ace of Wands, please? Can you tell me some more about this Ace of Wands? Yeah, there's about 4 cards there. I think this, I have this Light Seer's deck. I'm going to switch. It's telling me to switch. The Light Seer's deck I love. It's my favorite, and it has a tendency to stick. These cards stick together, and so I'm going to switch to the Tarot of the Abyss. And, yeah, see if this is going to help. Okay, so can you clarify this Ace of Wands with me? There we go. The Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is in reverse. So the Nine of Cups is a woman who's, you know, smelling all these flowers, quite comfortable. It's like, I want to say that it looks like this woman has, she's taken the cups and taken all the emotions out of the cups, because that's what the cups are, the emotions, right? And she's taken all the emotions out and she's decided to grow some flowers in these cups, right? Because she's reached a certain point where she's got to the Nine of Cups and she's kind of said, you know what, I've had enough of dealing with my emotions and I'm just going to put them away for now. But this is in reverse here. So it's telling me that I think that, you know, your emotions have kind of been put away, kind of put on the back burner for a while. And, you know, this is not a 10 yet. It's just a 9. And there's one more here to go. You need to go to get to the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is when we have that full range of emotion and we're willing to feel all these emotions that come forward. And so I think it's in reverse here, because so I think that there has been a resistance maybe in the past that you have, you know, sort of pushed this aside. And so you're aware of that, and now you're starting to realize that, you know, I have to start feeling, to start to find out, you know, who I really am. And you know, you start getting into your stuff, really is what you are. You start healing your past. And so the unconscious, what is coming up in your shadow that you know, to deal with this whole finding out who you are. Well, you have this Knight of Wands in your shadow, and the shadow talks, this Knight talks about freedom. My Knights are all about freedom. They're fighting for freedom. They want freedom to be themselves, to be authentic. And in particular, it's the Knight of this wand again. So it tells me, you know, you have the beginning of finding out, going somewhere, doing something for yourself, following your purpose. And this Knight comes in, and it definitely, I think they're in your shadow. So there was probably a younger part of you. This is like I say, a teenager part, this part of us that wants this freedom. I think of a teenager that just wants to be authentic, wants to be themselves, and wants the freedom to do what they want to do. So I'm wondering if there's a part of you when you were younger, could have been when you were a teenager or younger, that, you know, you wanted to do something. Maybe you know what it is. And you could know what it is over here. Or maybe you don't, because sometimes in our shadow, when we do a little bit of digging and we start to, you know, peel away at those layers of stuff that we have to deal with, there are some gifts that come out of this. And so the Knight of Wands is really telling me that you wanted to do something when you were younger, but you weren't allowed, you know. And how many times were we told you're not allowed, you shouldn't do that, that won't bring you money, or something like that? Well, it's just you weren't allowed to. And we've kind of been sometimes directed into a different path by our caretakers, by our parents. So I'm going to ask for clarification. Tell me some more about this Knight of Wands, please. The Emperor card, definitely. And I'll ask one more back here behind the Emperor. The Emperor explains a lot for me. Let's see if there's one more that wants to come out. Try this. Okay, so I have these two sneak out here, and I got one here. So I got the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and so you did get, oh, that's another sword. Okay, the Five of Wands. All right, so there's a lot here, but the Emperor tells me definitely a lot behind this Knight of Wands here. So here's the story in your shadow. The Emperor card, Mr. Emperor, he sits here ready, you know, he's so confident in himself. He's been sitting a long time on this chair. You can see he's ready to go. He's got these rams, these horns on his head. He's got this city behind him, if you can see. It's like he's sitting here and he rules. He rules this city behind him. And he knows it's going to stay exactly where he wants it to stay, because he's made the rules. He's made the rules of society. He's put in place these imaginary rules, right? So this really tells me that I mean, it's kind of what I said, where you were younger, you wanted to do something, but there were some rules put in place here. Society, for some reason, didn't look, it looked down on what you wanted to do. And it could have been something, depending on your age or whatever, it would have been something that your parents would have told you, oh, no, people are going to think you're crazy doing this, or no, you can't do this. And there's like an imaginary rule, like, why can't you do it if that's what you want to do? But that's, what would have happened here. And this is the card that's come up for you. And right behind that is another knight. Another knight. And again, I said knight's about freedom. And this is the Pentacles. And I talked about, that whole idea about maybe you were told that it wouldn't bring you enough money. And Pentacles is about money. So I'm wondering if you chose a career, you could be in a career that has been very abundant for you. Brought in, lots of money for you. Maybe you're still sitting in it. And now you're kind of looking at going, but I always wanted to do this. This is what I wanted to do. But you might have been told that, no, that's not what's going to bring you money. I was a parent and I was guilty of that, for sure. The Page of Swords, the page in my deck is always this inner child that needs healing. And I said that the sword was all about your authenticity. So there's very much an inner child, an inner part of you that needs healing about this whole, who you are. And so now it's coming up here. So this part of you that wanted to do this and wasn't allowed. Well, there's a lot of grieving sometimes that needs to take place before you're able to go into this direction that you want to go in and do what you want to do, because you need to grieve that loss when you were a child of not being able to do and what you wanted to, and not being able to be who you wanted you to be, right? That's your authenticity. And finally, the Five of Wands comes in, and that's in reverse. And I think what happens is the Five of Wands to me is a card where, these two birds right here, I don't know if you can see them, they both have branches. They found some branches, to make a nest. And these twigs, and they're comparing the size of them. And they're saying, well, my twig's better than yours, so we're going to use this one. Yours is too small. And this card, this Five of Wands, is a card about the ego self, where you compare yourself to other people. It can be a real card of unworthiness. And so I'm seeing here that there is some unworthiness here because it's in reverse. So it's blocked here. So I'm seeing that your inner child here feels very unworthy. And it could be an unworthiness that is related to what you want to do. And we have a tendency sometimes ourselves now, where we go online and we can compare ourselves on social media and see that everybody else is living this amazing life, or whatever it is you want to do. You'll look at, like for instance, I became a tarot reader, and after I retired. I mean, I didn't just become one. I had to work. It was actually a gift in my shadow that I didn't know I had. And so I went online before I started my channel, tarot reading, and I compared myself to other tarot readers. And it was just like, I can't do this. I can't be them. Well, there's no two tarot readers out there that are alike. There's a lot of tarot readers out there, but there's no two that are alike. And so we have a tendency to go and compare ourselves to other people and think, well, we can't do this. And so there's some unworthiness from childhood that's sitting there as well, that's related to the situation, that whatever you want to do right here. So what's the so what do you do now? Like you know you want to do something, you have this freedom, these freedom fires that are almost like bursting out of you, this emotion of wanting to be free, wanting to be you, wanting to do what you want to do, and figuring out who you really are. And so what do you do now with all of this? Well, the Chariot card comes up, and this is what's needed for the resolution. The Chariot card talks about this charioteer who is guiding. Not really, because he's not really moving, but people talk about this as a movement card. And yes, it is a movement card, right? And people talk, it could be physical movement. Well, if you look at these sphinxes, they're not going in any particular direction. They're not attached to the chariot. And so he's really trying to control these sphinxes with his mind. And so what's needed for resolution here is movement, but not anything physical or on the exterior. It's talking about going inwards movement. And that's what the chariot is all about. It is the decision. It is the decision to decide, well, I'm going to decide to go inwards now. I'm going to decide, and that means, you're going to decide to get quiet and start to really get in touch with these new emotions that are coming up for you, which could be unworthiness, which could be grief from the past, and really get in touch with that. I'm going to ask for some clarifiers here for the chariot, just to further clarify this inward journey that you're being asked to take. They all wanted to come out, all of them. The Knight of Wands again. The Magician. Ooh, I like that one. The Four of Cups. Wow, there's a lot here. Big story. Bigger than I thought. Okay. Ten of Swords. We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. We'll make it a quick one. Strength. And the Fool card. Oh, wow. Okay, so big story. Big story. So let's start off with this Chariot card. I wanted more information about going inwards. Knight of Wands is the next card. Talked about the Knight of Wands. Wanting that freedom to move into the direction that you want to go into. We know that. That's what the Chariot card is. But in order to get to that, it has to begin with an inward journey. And the Magician card comes right after, and that explains a lot. The Magician card is the number one in the major arcana, a very powerful card because he is the master manifester. He can manifest anything in his world that he wants to. He has everything at his disposal. And it's interesting here that this is a bit different from the Rider-Waite deck, because he has everything in his heart center here. See this spiral here that he's holding on to? He has everything in here that he needs. And he's very, very grounded. He's like a lightning rod. He's connected to the creator, source, spirit, our guidance, our guides. And he's also connected to the earth. The earth. He's very grounded. Very grounded. So this is going inwards is going to mean that you're going to get very grounded. You're going to go back into your body. He's got everything right here. And you're going to start to get in touch with your inner guidance, which everyone has. And I remember when I first started my own intensive journey 7 years ago of healing, I was told to do this, start to go inwards and start to get in touch with me and what I wanted and what I needed to do. And that was a brand new concept to me. I wasn't used to that. I was used to kind of looking around and following people and sort of doing what I was told, right? As we did when we were kids. And I was told, and I hated this line, but I was told that, Carol, you have everything in you. You have all the answers you need in you. That is the last thing I wanted. I wanted people to tell me what to do. When these big emotions came up and I didn't know what to do with them, I wanted people to tell me what to do. I wanted my therapist to tell me what to do. And she said, no, your answers are inside of you. And it's taken me a long time. And that's your intuition. Beautiful feminine quality that we all have. The Four of Cups is here. And the Four of Cups speaks about, our emotions. And kind of being, again, this individual that's kind of, has these 3 cups here, planted them there on the ground and is saying, like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to feel anymore. A bit like the 9 of Cups over there I saw. where but there's this the universe has this other cup for you up here. The universe has another cup for you, which means the universe wants you to go deeper. And that's why that's why they want you to go inwards here. They want you to go deeper. And I think this is what you're feeling from the universe with all these emotions coming up. You're being asked to go deeper. The Ten of Swords has come here. The Ten of Swords it's the last card of the swords. So it's like the completion of a cycle. It's like in the cycle that's completing is Swords is all about, I mentioned about our authenticity for sure, but I also said that it was about your mental energy, your mental thoughts, the thought patterns that you have, all those things you tell yourself. You know, we talked about unworthiness sitting in your shadow. Maybe you tell yourself things like, you're no good, you can't do this, why do you want to do this, this is a dumb idea. These are all these sword patterns that eventually, you know, just kill you. And I think this needs to be, this is done. You're done with living up in your head and believing all those things that you've heard all your life or you've told yourself all your life. And now you're going to start to go out of your head and inwards. And the Strength card comes in. Strength card is the strength you need to go inwards. And this is in reverse here, because what I'm feeling here, what this is telling me is that you don't believe that you have the strength to face these newer emotions that are coming up, or to go just a little bit deeper into your emotions. You don't believe that you have the strength, but the tarot's here to say, you can do this. You can turn this upwards. You have the strength. And I know right now you don't think you do, but you have the strength. The last card came in, and I think it was probably when I saw this card that I went, okay, I was meant to take all this story, all these cards here. Oh, you have the Fool card. I love when the Fool card comes up, because even though it's in reverse it means there's a real resistance to doing this. But because it's scary to go inwards and take a deep dive into our emotions, it's scary. But the universe will give me this Fool card in a reading when it really they want me to tell you that, you know, it's time that you walk off that cliff. It's time that you start to trust that this is going to be okay. Trust that the universe has your back. Spirit, creator, source, divine has your back. And I think it comes to a point in our life where we have to do that, because we've trusted too long in our mental thoughts until, you know, they destroy us and they you know, bring us to this place where we're just absolutely done here, because that's what mental energy does to us. It just exhausts us. It's very exhausting, very tiring. And it's, like I said, it's in reverse here. So it's time for you to trust. Trust in the universe that you can do this, that you can start to really take a deep dive, go inwards and take a deep dive into your emotions. And guidance from the tarot. Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is the Thief card. It's this particular individual that has ran away with all these swords from a camp, thinking that he's, you know, done something really good, but he's running with them a bit dangerously here. He has them, he's holding them by the tips. Very dangerous. He has stolen, inherited all these belief systems. Think of yourself when you were younger and people told you all these things about yourself that you continue to tell yourself. And then we inherit them all. This is what this card is about. It's time to start. The tarot wants you to really start to listen to, become more aware of these thought patterns that you tell yourself all the time when you're, you know, especially when you're wanting to do something new for yourself or take your life in a new direction or follow your purpose. You're going to start to tell yourself all these mental thoughts that, you know, it sounds like people, you'll notice that it sounds like people that raised us, and those are the things they told us, like, who do you think you are, or why would you want to do that, or that's crazy. I'm going to ask for another card here not 6, but 1 card here for clarification. It's funny, I just put that deck back saying that they gave me too many cards. Well, this one, all right, we got it here. So what about these thought patterns, these mental energies? You get the Lover's card. Yeah, this is the advice from the tarot. So it's in reverse here. So what's the Lover's card mean? Major arcana, major force, and universal force here, right? And it brings about, you know, change. Look at this card. Beautiful. I love this depiction of the Lovers. You have these 2 trees here that are intertwined, very vulnerable. I mean, they're going to spend the rest of their lives like this. They're one. They're so intertwined, they're one. Their roots are intertwined. You couldn't pull them apart if you tried. And this is this Lover's card speaks about a very intimate, a very vulnerable relationship. And, you know, some tarot readers will interpret this as you're going to meet your lover's coming. It's not what this is. This is nothing to do with a lover coming. But it does have everything to do with intimacy. It does have everything to do with vulnerability. And it has everything to do with the inner journey. And this is the inner journey of getting to know yourself, of joining those 2 parts of you, that conscious part and that unconscious part, that shadow part, that part that you don't want to look at. And I'm seeing here that it's time to start to look at it and really start to build this intimate, vulnerable relationship with you. And so that you get to find who the real authentic you is. This was the Queen of Swords that we started out with. She wants your authenticity. Finding out who the real authentic Pisces is what this reading is all about. So take care, Pisces, and have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.